Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 29th of October. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
Gary, we had our last weekend of October.
We did.
Given the fact we're about to hit November this coming weekend, Cup weekend, we'll talk more about that in a moment. But we did come through incredibly well.
Strong weekend, Mr. Kingston. 81% clearance against an industry average of 63 and 65. Let's say 64. We'll put it right in the middle there of the REA and domain figures. 64%. We got 81%. Let's put up the towers. Let's have some Bose music and let's enjoy the moment.
Not only did we get 81%, Gary, but we did that out of a lot of auctions. We did that out of 31 auctions.
Oh, yeah.
So again, our facts are more clear and concise than industry facts because we know how many auctions. We didn't hide any auctions. We didn't shove them under the carpet or pretend they didn't happen. 31 auctions, 81%. Again, our team just doing a magnificent job.
It was a magnificent job, but I understand it wasn't so magnificent for Joel Sir at one of our auctions, Philip. And
there's an auction first, Gary.
I got to say, luck comes in different forms, doesn't it, Philip? And the form that it came to Joel Sir was not so great. Shall we have a look at some footage very quickly?
Let's have a look at footage, then we'll talk you through it.
Yeah.
So lucky. Give the jacket to these people because that's a lucky jacket. 24. Oh, that's a big poo too. 2403. That's a chulent poo. 240 and they pooed on your neck. 2403. That's what happens. Birds in this suburb eat schnitzels on Friday night. 2403. Once.
So Gary, I almost lost it in the middle of that auction.
I can understand why.
Because Joel is bidding on behalf of these clients, and these clients are the eventual buyers of the property.
Yep.
And I must say that these buyers were not that easy to work with. Their denominations of bidding was on the very low side. Trick. I had to be very patient, and I think that might have been nature trying to give those buyers somewhat of a message. Unfortunately, poor Joel had to take the message, which is, I suppose, fair enough in many ways.
Well, look, I think you're actually underestimating what's going on out there. This is a very competitive business that we're in, right? And some of our competitors now have trained birds to fly over our auctions and give us a little bit of a message as an agency. They've got the agents in sight, Phil. They've got it radared in. They've been trained by some incredible military machine, right, to know exactly what to do. And I've got to say, Phil, that over the bird went, down it came, not the bird. Did you actually see the bird itself?
No, all I could see was Joel shrieking in many ways, shrieking as much as Joel would shriek, covered, rubbing his neck, rubbing his jacket. And all I can say is, the question is, was it a bird or was it some sort of secret drone? Because, I mean, drone technology now, Gary, has become so extraordinary that it's quite possible that was a drone.
Well, we're going to have to make an investigation of that, Philip, and I think we need to refer to the REIV and see what they've got to say about it. But I've got to say, definitely, luck comes in different ways, Phil, and good luck to those buyers. Not so much good luck to Joel Sir. Well, as they say, Phil, there's a famous saying, thankfully, pigs don't fly. And I tell you what, a little bird can make a lot of mess at an auction.
Well,
anyway,
an auction first, Gary. So,
and if you're a buyer, you understand that there's a perfect ratio of success now with a bird doing a little dropping and your success as a purchaser. So there is, maybe we need more of it.
You might be looking at purchases from now on, looking at the sky, hoping. So Gary, that was Brampton Road. Shout out to our wonderful vendors there and the incoming purchasers. Great result there.
I wanted to get to that auction, but I had another one on at the same time. So well done to the vendors, Philip. I want to put a highlight on Twilight, Phil, because Twilight auctions.
On Twilight.
I'm going to do a highlight on Twilight. That's what I'm on about here today, Phil, because the Twilight auction has become such a beautiful way of selling real estate and buying real estate. And we have the perfect weather. When you think of Twilight, Phil, you think of nice, a bit of a sunset, a sort of a kind of merging from day to evening, from warmth to sort of a bit more coolness.
Gary's going through all the descriptive weather patterns. A twilight auction.
Leaves are going.
A twilight auction midweek, generally a Wednesday or Thursday evening. We generally have a 5:30, a 6:30, and sometimes a 7:30. So a twilight auction that Mr. David Attenborough over here.
I got the eyebrows for it.
David Attenborough over here is describing Wednesday or Thursday evening, 5:30, 6:30,
There's something
7:30.
almost romantic about a twilight auction. You know what I'm going to say, Phil? It's a time of love. Twilight auction is a love auction, and we did very well with our twilight auction.
Tell us about the midweek twilight auctions, Gary.
36 Stone Street,
Yes.
which and without being nasty, but it was with another agent that was unable to get an offer or sale.
Yes.
We rocked up there in that beautiful time of the evening, Philip. You were walking around, strutting your stuff. Trying your best to behave yourself, but not doing a very successful job of it.
Shout out to that lovely Spanish woman with her
Irish partner,
with her scowling Irish partner,
He's
husband, who had reason to scowl.
Yes,
I might
right.
say.
He's coming after you, that guy.
But shout out to all of the people that were there. It was a great crowd, Gary. How many bidders? There were 3 or 4 people.
No, there was
there?
actually. Let me have a little look here, Phil, because you've caught me out. 4 bidders on that one.
Yes.
Very, very popular. Was expected to get somewhere in that very low ones, but it actually ran away closer to the mid ones than the low ones, Phil. Under competitive auction circumstances.
So multiple bidders Wednesday evening, great time to do them.
And Phil, Clive Street in Brighton East, I had the joy, because that one was in Stone Street. Brighton East was the following evening, Philip, at 5:30, and I had great pleasure in putting this to the market again. Very competitive, 2 buyers going hard for that auction, Philip. Sold also well above its expected range for a very delightful family. And Philip,
and while you were doing that, I was following you up in Marara Road, so 2 on Thursday evening, and Marara Road again. I reckon we had a crowd of about 70 people there, which again just goes to the whole notion, if you are having a twilight auction, you're going to be in the minority. So Melbourne's very Saturday centred, but once daylight savings kicks in, a lot of agents in the inner suburbs are starting to do the twilights, and they're fantastic. I've auctioned my own home through twilight. Nikki Janover has auctioned her own home through twilight. It's a wonderful time, and you have a captive audience because they've got no other auctions on that evening.
Phil, 4 bidders from Marara Road. Now, all those 3 properties, now, I don't know if you can say it's exactly because of the properties or twilight, but I'm going to say that due to their twilight nature of the sale, Philip, they all sold for well above the range. Now, most viewers would look at the range and say, most properties and most of our sales do fall in the range, but some of them go out of the range, and very rarely one will sell under the range.
Very rarely.
Very rarely, thankfully, but all of those properties sold above the range. So whether it's twilight, whether it's the love factor.
You're drawing the link. David Attenborough and, what's an author that wrote a lot of love stories? Don't know.
Edgar Allan Poe?
No, I don't. Between nature and love, you're drawing the conclusion that midweek, bringing nature and love to midweek is going to get you somewhat of a better price. And if we can somehow get that drone operator of that pooing bird, imagine if Joel Sir had a midweek auction where he was the bird did it again, how lucky and how that's a whole package.
We're looking for the lucky bird now, Phil. We're going to have our eyes up in the sky, aren't we? Anyway, I reckon getting back to the twilight auctions with that whole theme of, I think we should play music at the twilight auctions. I think we should have some jazz, or maybe we can, as it gets later, go into Barry White, make it a little bit, a little bit of a sensual affair. What do you think?
Clearly, something tells me we've got a long weekend coming up, viewers, where we don't have any auctions for the long weekend, and something tells me that Gary is trying to pad out this show.
No, that's not true, Philip. Clarinda is a suburb that we don't sell a lot in, but gee, when we hit Clarinda, Phil, we hit it hard. And Simon Rodolnik sold 3 Rosella Avenue in Clarinda for $1,132,500. Also, Philip, we went across to Fitzroy on Saturday morning to grace the fine people of Fitzroy. One of the things that happened at the auction is the underbidder got our cookies, which we hand out, and Daniel Pierre said they were in shock. Because I don't think that agents there are so giving.
They're not so quick to give things away in the north.
I mean, I'm a bit disappointed in that, I've got to say.
Clearly.
But anyway, 66 Hodder Street, Jeremy Rosen's auction, that, Philip.
Competitive
that was one of
auction, multiple bidders there, I believe.
Most competitive auctions sold for $1,915,000. I like talking about the ones where we can disclose the price, Philip, as we can in St Albans Avenue, which is a great address, 410 St Albans Avenue, where we have had a successful twilight auction. Sold for $599,000. It was funny doing the auction because there was a young lady bidding, and of course, as the auctioneer, you want the auction to keep going, and you will it on, and you want the price to be as high as you can for your vendor, because that is our client. That's who pays us.
That's what we do.
That's our responsibility, Phil. But it's amazing because at $599, this person was knocked down to. Everyone else was exhausted and out. And there were 4 bidders, but another $2,000 could cost them maybe about $20,000. Do you know why, Philip?
Tell me.
Because the first home buyers grant is for under 600. So when I knocked it down to her, I said to her, "Are you a first home buyer?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "Do you realise that for 2 more thousand, it might have cost you $20,000 or something like that?"
And was she aware of that?
She wasn't, Phil, but she was delighted when I informed her.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
She was delighted and bringing happiness to people all around the place. So, Philip, we did finish off on a Sunday afternoon after you had a not a long day, but it was a warm day, wasn't it? And that humidity,
yes,
you feel it, don't you? As an
I'll tell you what, I left home. It was actually quite cool Sunday morning, but by the time you hit about 11 o'clock, there was real heat out there.
Yep.
It was a funny day Sunday, but a very successful Sunday.
It was a good Sunday, Phil, and 15, Aruna Road. That's been the same family
for a very long time. Shout out to the owner of that property, who has been a wonderful supporter of our business.
Indeed, thank you.
And it was quite emotional letting go of that. And the family home, I get that. Well, but it's been in the same family's hands for decades, Gary. And it's been bought by a younger family that will do their thing and no doubt hold it for a generation as well.
And well done to the person who bought it, who Darren Krongold has been working with for 8 years, Philip.
Sometimes at the top end of the market, Gary, sometimes at the top end of the market, it takes a long time to be able to find exactly what you want.
Yep. So well done, and congratulations again to that vendor who shared a lovely story and said, I bought this property when I was a little girl, like a teenager, So there's a lot of sentiment in that, but not many blocks of land left in the Golden Mile, Phil.
No, that's one less, Gary.
One less now. Phil, Cobden Street, number 3 Cobden Street has not yet sold, but we got pretty close.
That's a really good house too.
Good house
and Cobden Street's a great location. That's a single-fronted period home that is very livable now, but could be further upgraded. I think that's a buy, Gary.
It is a buy, Phil, and that one now is 1295. It's pretty hard to get a house for that sort of
Correct.
money. The other home, Phil, that I sold on the weekend that I had great joy in selling was in Cambrook Road.
Yes.
And that has been owned by the same vendor who lives in Sydney now, who is, I believe, a gentleman in his 90s, who has bought it since the 1970s, has owned that home since the 1970s.
That story gives me no joy, Garrett. I think people hold on to their properties for over 50 years. There is no respect by that family for real estate agents, because you hold a house for 50 years instead of once every 7 or 8 years. Yeah. That's 5, 6 transactions that we could have had. So quite frankly, that person should pay 6 times the fee that you charged them.
Do you think that's an unreasonable? Can we get that sanctioned by the Real Estate Institute of Victoria?
Do you know what? I think there should be a law, because real estate agents will not be able to buy boats or holiday homes
or planes,
in foreign
some
destinations.
Of the ones,
it's just not fair.
Yeah,
it's
exactly
just not fair.
Right. We don't want a fly economy. We work too hard, don't we, Phil?
Correct.
Anyway, but that was well done to that vendor, and a delightful gentleman bought it, Philip, and a very, very handsome man bought that property, Philip, and it's going to be redeveloped, and watch out for that property, because we're looking forward to it. 34 Cambrook Road. He's going to come in and have a chat with us, Phil. We do that with people, don't we?
We do.
We consult to them and with them about projects. Phil, that is a bit of a wrap of our auctions. I could go on, and I have a little. But Phil,
let's jump into some of our feature properties, can we?
We've got some features, but not just features. We've got auctions, Phil, but none this weekend, because it is, of course, Derby Day. You're going to have a little bet
Melbourne
on the
Cup Day.
It is Melbourne Cup Day, which is when our next episode comes out, Philip, or maybe next Wednesday it'll come out this week, because
maybe.
Are you going to have a little flutter on the Cup? What would you like to do?
I don't know, Gary. I'm happy to watch the race, but I don't need to put my hard-earned money on the table to invariably lose, like some people that we do know.
Between the two of us, we've lost a lot of money on the race, haven't we?
Yes,
Between the two of us, anyway, it is Melbourne Cup next week, so for those people who are going to the Cup, enjoy. For those people who are involved in the Derby, enjoy, Philip. I might even get over there and have a little look at what's going on. Twilight auctions this week. Let's review them. Phil, you're going to hit the ground running this Wednesday. Yes, we're talking tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. You're going to be in Bentley East, an area that we do so much wonderful work in. We're in Moylan Street, Phil.
Gary, what a fabulous home. We're going to be meeting Leon Guzenfitter and Leo Yu there. This is 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a lock-up garage, absolute luxury. I love that property, and also in the McKinnon Secondary College zone.
Now you'll be going from Bentley East, Philip, to your next Twilight auction, which is in Malvern East, and this one is in Darling
Gary,
Road.
I love this block, and I love this position. position, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a double lock-up garage, been finished beautifully. Very, very lovely home.
Leo Samuel is in on the action, Philip. He doesn't want to be twilighting alone. He's going to share it with you, but he's going to be doing it on Thursday in Nearham Road.
Dizzy Wang and Christian de Freck there, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a basement car space.
On Thursday, we're going to be in Queen's Avenue, Philip, in Hawthorn. A great location. Johnny Sweepo's handling this property.
Together with Vanessa McGlynn, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a beautiful apartment with a really great outlook and not a cent to spend.
And I reckon we should do some selling in the heart of Melbourne, Philip, in Bowen Crescent. Well, it's not the heart of Melbourne, but it is Melbourne. Bowen Crescent, a great property, a great address. Tell us a little about this one.
Gary, this is done by the wonderful development company Gurner, together with interiors by David Hicks. This is a magnificent apartment, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. You've got everything on your doorstep. Albert Park, St Kilda Road, access to everywhere. That is a luxury apartment in a luxury building.
And Gurner do quality work, Philip. I know that Gurner himself is not too wrapped in Victoria at the moment, but Victoria, we have faith in you. You are going to come back because there's too many good things here, Phil, for Victoria to be suffering as it has been. Let's talk a bit about some of the properties we've got coming up, because we are going to be selling this incredible block of apartments, trackside almost, Phil.
Gary, what an
Derby
incredible
Crescent.
location. This is 7 extra large apartments, 7 one-bedroom apartments, 7 bedrooms, each with a bathroom, of course, and 7 car spaces, a corner site, 661 square metres of prime land, and that is just a great investment, or you could refurbish and sell them off individually. A wonderful property.
Let's talk about Belsize Avenue, Carnegie, Philip. That's a great location, a very pretty home.
One of the most beautiful homes, being handled by Christian de Freck and Mark Wynn. I've got auction honours there, Gary. That is the most superb home. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, undercover parking for 2 cars, and really one of the most delightful back gardens. The house has been renovated beautifully. One of the best Carnegie offerings in years.
Phil, Jeremy Rosens and the whole team are excited about this property in Garden Street, Elswick. A little known street, Philip, but in a great location.
Incredible
right there,
location.
the shops there on the corner of Glenira Road and Hotham Street, including a fabulous bakery. Tell us
Gary,
about that.
what a great location, and this is a beautiful, this is a really good property. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a car space, beautiful timber floorboards, and a gorgeous outlook.
And keeping the Elswick theme alive, Phil, we are in number 7 Seymour Road now. This is one of the Elswick's best streets, no question about it, Phil, and one of the finest offerings to come to the market in Elswick this year.
Gary, this is just the most stunning home. 4 bedrooms, 2 beautiful bathrooms, really incredible entertaining areas, together with a swimming pool. You've got this picture postcard perfect facade. You've got this incredible home throughout. This is one that you can move straight into and get on with life and not spend a cent. And of course, you can walk to everywhere from there, including Halston Park and all of the cafe life of Glen Huntly Road. That is, Gary, a standout property.
And we've just sold in Seymour Road. You were there on the weekend, Phil?
I was.
Number 75.
One of the best streets of Elston.
Seymour Road, no question about it. That is a big wrap on this week's GPTV. As we close down, put the curtain on October, Phil, we've got November around the corner. Next edition will be a November edition. The year's moving fast.
It is, Gary. We're heading towards an end of year close, but so much real estate to be sold, or bought and sold by then. Viewers, thanks for watching GPTV on this racing week. I'm Philip Kingston.
See you next week. I'm Gary Peer.